Okay, so you've probably seen some reports about Las Vegas lately, and things aren't looking good for them. Prices are up across the board, resorts fees are through the roof, and get this, a bottle of water at the minibar now costs $20. Vegas is already shooting itself in the foot, and without international tourists, Trump's actions are making it even worse for the tourist industry. Today I got a few reports on what's happening in Las Vegas, and how this former Canadian hotspot is now struggling because international visitors, especially Canadians, aren't coming back. Couple that with the high prices, Vegas is in trouble. Before we jump in, here's another photo from my mom. I'm not sure where this was taken. It was most likely somewhere on Vancouver Island during one of their fishing trips. Thanks again, Mom. All right, let's get into today's reports. Now, this first clip isn't from a news report. I was watching a live stream from another YouTube channel called The Laughing Lion. This guy does regular live streams while walking around the Las Vegas Strip and Fremont Street. I wanted to show you this clip because it was filmed on Thursday, and I want you to pay close attention to the background. So what did you notice in the background? For me, it was dead obvious. It's dead. There's barely anyone walking around. Fremont Street on a Thursday used to be packed, but not this time. Even the viewers in the Laughing Lions livestream were asking, where is everybody? Why is it so dead? Wanted to show you this clip because it shows the reality of where Las Vegas tourism is right now. International tourists have stopped going, and domestic travelers can't afford it. Now, with that said, great song by the street performer. Now let's take a look at this next clip.
Hey guys, it's about 6 a.m. on a Friday morning at the Las Vegas airport, and I'm going to catch my flight, and there's literally nobody else here at the airport. I've never parked my car to catch a flight, and I've not seen another person since I've parked. This is really weird.
Now, if you're saying 6 a.m. is too early for people, it's not. I've flown out of Las Vegas on a few early flights, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., both on Air Canada and Allegiant Air, and the airport was just as busy as it would be from 9 a.m. to noon. This clip is from a YouTuber named Jake Bro, and a shout out to Jason in the comments for pointing it out. Appreciate it. Now this next clip is from a waitress on the Strip. Let's hear what she has to say.
They are not lying about Vegas being dead, y'all. I'm a waitress on the Strip, and last year around this time, I made like $300 to $500 a day in tips. And today, I just walked home with $124.
Now this is just one waitress, but her tips have dropped by at least 60% compared to last year. And to me, there's no better evidence than hearing directly from someone in the hospitality industry, because she relies 100% on visitors. If her tips are down, that's all the proof I need. When you lose domestic tourists because it's too expensive, and you lose international tourists because of Taco Man, it really shouldn't be a surprise that her tips are down. But why are Canadians so reluctant to go to the US? There's multiple reasons, but this next clip will show you one of the reasons why, and what kind of ridiculous questions were now being asked by CBP.
I'm a Canadian with a Canadian passport and a green card, and yesterday I traveled from Vancouver, Canada, back home to New York, and for the first time I've had the US border agent on the Canada side be kind of an asshole to me, so I just wanted to share my experience. But clearly I'm home now, so it all worked out, but I know there's a lot of Canadians afraid to travel into the US or having trouble, so I just wanted to share my experience in case it alleviates anybody's concerns or mentally preps you for the line of questioning you might get at the border. I was on a 6 a.m. flight from Vancouver into Minneapolis into New York. So by the time I got to the border agent in Vancouver, it was around 4:30 and the line was completely empty. So it's just me and him, and he started off by asking me what I was doing in Canada, what I was doing in the US, the standard questions. And then the interrogation started. He looked through my passport and asked me about my past travels and why I went to certain places. He saw that I went to Korea a lot, so he asked me what I was doing there. I told him I was there for facial treatments, and he was like, why don't you just do it in the US? And I was like, because it's cheaper in Korea. He didn't believe me when I said it's cheaper in Korea. Then he asked me if I had any family in Korea, and I was like, no, I'm Chinese. And he's like, that's not what I asked. I asked if you have family in Korea. Just extremely rude. And also asked me like what I did for work, why I'm important to the company, and just like overall very just like a rude interrogation line of questioning. I answered all of his questions just like, I don't know why you're asking this stuff kind of way. And after a few minutes of interrogating me, he just let me through. So it was uncomfortable, it wasn't pleasant, but it also wasn't ridiculous. Like, I think ultimately the goal of his conversation was to understand why I was coming into the US. And because I live in the US and I have a green card, it's like, why are you asking me all these additional questions that really don't matter at all? Either way, it was just way too early for that, and I'm back home now. So we're good.
These are the questions we're now getting from CBP. They're just uncomfortable. My passport has stamps from Europe and Asia and a few other places. And if I had to be questioned on each one, I'd most likely be pulled into secondary. I used to travel a lot for work, and I never got asked these kind of questions before. And I'm not the only one. A few of my friends went to Las Vegas back in May. They pre-booked the trip last year, July. But when they got there, they were pulled into secondary and held for over an hour. Keep in mind, they were also Nexus holders. They said the questions were ridiculous. One of my friends, who is a person of color, was asked if she was part of an extreme organization or any extremist organizations in Canada. So why did I show you this? It's because I know many of you haven't set foot in the US since Trump got into the office. And now, this kind of rude, uncomfortable treatment from CBP is becoming the new normal. Now, let's get back to Las Vegas. Let's take a look at how their local media is trying to downplay the situation.
And you're not alone if you're noticing that it seems a little slim on the visitor volume this summer. They're calling it the summer slump. A lot of people not coming to Las Vegas because it's too expensive.
You know, there's the feelings about it, and then there's the data behind it. Because for the 5th consecutive month, Harry Reid International Airport is reporting a decline in passenger volume. This is all according to new data that's been released.
And it happens to coincide with the decline in visitor attendance. And as we dig into these numbers this morning, News 3's Andrew Nomura is joining us live from Harry Reid International Airport. And Andrew, I'm sure you have friends who have been here and they cannot believe the price they're paying for cocktails, for food, for show tickets and the like. And the word is out, and it looks like people are boycotting coming to Las Vegas.
Now I get it. Their audience is American, they're speaking directly to the US citizens, but not a single opening remark about the lack of international tourists hurting their economy. Yeah, I think we know how this report is going to go.
Yeah, that's what it appears to be. And yeah, just to your point, I mean, if you take a look at any cocktail here in Las Vegas, it's going to cost you anywhere upwards of $15 or more. And discretionary spending here in the Valley is considerably down, especially here when it comes to spending as well as a whole. And it kind of gives us a better insight or reflection of the total U.S. economy, especially if people are not coming here to Las Vegas. But pumping the brakes on that, some officials say that you don't have to push the panic button just yet. Okay, of course, according to the numbers here from Harry Reid, they've seen just over a 6% decline in passengers from June of this year compared to June of last year, and then as well as a decrease in passengers as far as year to date around just more than 4%. Now, according to the LVCVA, they've seen a decline in visitorship around 11.3% compared to June from this year to compared to June of last year.
So now we're looking at an 11.3 decline in tourism to Las Vegas, and still no mention of how international tourism is affecting that number. But when you see the empty streets, tips are down by 60% or more, and the growing number of news reports coming out of Vegas, you really have to wonder, is that number even accurate?
And yeah, that's something to really take into consider. But let's talk about the gaming industry as well. We got a quote from a casino executive from Caesars Entertainment. He was on an earnings call on Tuesday, and he admits that Las Vegas is experiencing a soft summer but he goes on to say that as far as he can see, he's not seeing anything particular as far as concerning when it comes to consumer. They expect to have a better volume of people as we are entering into the later months of the year. More conventions are on tap as far as later at the end of the year, beginning of next year. As far as Caesars goes, on this earning call, they reported nearly a 4% decline from the second quarter of this year compared to the second quarter of last year, around roughly $1 billion for the Las Vegas resorts here. Guys, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
We'll play glass half full right now and at least focus on the positive. Red Rock Resorts, kind of the neighborhood casinos, just posted their best quarter ever in their almost 50-year history. They credit Durango Resort for a lot of that, where they picked up 100,000 new customers when that resort ended up opening up. So it looks like at least the locals market is doing well. Thank you, Andrew.
Sure, one casino might be doing well, but what about the hundreds of others? You can call it a glass half full just to make the report sound better, but really, you're just covering up the inevitable. I went through the entire report, and not once did they mention Canada or any other international tourists boycotting their city and their country. No wonder many Americans have no idea what's going on. All right, let's move into the next one.
Welcome back in here to Live Now from Fox. I am Andy Mack. Let's turn our attention out west, as it seems not as many tourists this year want to roll the dice on a trip to Sin City in Las Vegas. The live picture right now there, as you can see it courtesy of our EarthCam partners, as Las Vegas seeing a drop in visitors, but there might be some potential deals for those looking to go. Let's be joined right now by Fox's Kennedy Hayes on the ground in Las Vegas with the slowdown. Kennedy, thank you so much for joining us. What more can you tell us?
Hi, Andy. Well, experts say fewer people are coming to Las Vegas, and that largely has to do with money. International travel is also down, especially from Mexico and Canada. But
Well, at least this report finally mentions the drop in international tourists from Canada and Mexico. These are the two biggest countries that support the Las Vegas economy. Shout out to our Mexican allies for going strong on the boycott. I know we've got quite a few viewers from Mexico watching this too.
City that relies heavily on tourism, that can hit hard. Las Vegas welcomed 400,000 fewer visitors this past June compared to the same time last year. That's an 11% drop, the first double-digit decline since 2021. And it's not just tourists. Convention traffic, a major moneymaker here, is also down. Those big conferences and expos bring in high-spending visitors, and the cost of visiting adds up fast. Between resort fees and service charges, vacationing here can be more expensive. Even the city's airport is feeling the impact, with passenger traffic falling more than 6% last month. But here is the silver lining. Hotel prices are starting to ease. The average nightly rate on the Strip in June was about $174. That's compared to nearly $187 last year.
So, will a $12.60 reduction in the average room rates be enough to get you back to Vegas? I already know what the Canadians are going to say, but I'd love to hear from our US allies here on the channel. This is one of your own cities. Will you be going back to Las Vegas anytime soon? And if not, why? Let us know in the comments. I know our Canadian viewers would love to hear what our American viewers are thinking too.
From Florida. We're actually from the Keys, so we come from a very touristy place. Today I was like, let's see everything we can do up until we even go to this pool party for free. So we've been trying to do everything we can to have fun, but do it with the smallest, playing with the smallest amount of money.
It's our vacation. We come from France. In France is not the same price, but the food is really, really expensive.
Now, I know we have a lot of viewers from France. And I'm guessing when you hear that some of your fellow citizens are still traveling to the US, you're probably thinking, why are you still going? Well, there's nothing we can do. People like this will make their own choices, and that's really up to them. But at least for these two, they found out the hard way just how ridiculously expensive it is in Las Vegas.
And hotels are a little bit cheaper too. Experts say with less people booking up rooms, hotels might drop even more deals. So if you love the city, now might be a good time to come. Andy.
All right. Thank you so much for this, Kennedy. I want to ask you, because it is a hot time of the year. It's summer as we're heading from July into August. Do you think the temperature has anything to do with it?
It just might. It's been about 100 degrees every single day this week. Locals, visitors, tourists I've talked to said they're definitely hitting those pool parties. I am jealous being out here and not being able to cool off.
What? Now they're blaming the weather for the lack of tourists? We're in August, the hottest time of the year for Las Vegas. That hasn't changed from last year. It's not like people just found out that August is hot in Las Vegas. I really don't understand why the US media keeps blaming everything except for their president. Now, Vegas is also shooting itself in the foot with the sky-high prices, like I mentioned earlier. But come on, you have to at least admit that the president is part of the problem. I'm ending it here because the guy just goes on to promote the local sports teams, blah blah blah, which none of us really care about. But here's the takeaway from the two reports. Number one, they still refuse to report how important international tourism is to Las Vegas. Number two, they continue to avoid blaming the president for any of this. And number three, they're now blaming the heat for the lack of tourists. For crying out loud, it's always hot in August. This hasn't changed. Now, this is just my opinion, but the fact that they don't mention tourists from Canada, Mexico, Europe, or anywhere else tells me one thing. They don't actually respect the international tourist money that helps build their economy. And let's be real, they don't care about us. They only care that people keep coming through Harry Reid Airport and spending money. So yeah, I see these reports, and I do feel upset and offended. They care about the money, not the people. Just like so many of you have said in the comments in my past videos. What they don't realize is that international tourists, they stay longer, and they spend more. Plus, let's not forget, paid time off isn't mandatory in the US. So who's going to replace the tourists who usually spend 2 to 4 weeks vacationing there? Good luck with that, US. If you found this video helpful, hit the like and subscribe button to get this message out to more people, and share it with your friends as well. And if you're still here and want to hear more of my lovely voice, check out the other videos showing now on your screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.